all attention is on the quarterbacks, right? I mean, there's a lot of pressure. What are some of the things that you're excited to deal with? What are some things that you have to look out for as a quarterbacks coach when you're working with these young student athletes?
I think the biggest thing to look out for, I'll answer that first, the biggest thing to look out for is just information overload, making sure that we don't overload those guys and giving them the ability to make, superior, spontaneous decisions. And the only way we can give them that ability is to make sure they're not overloaded. And so if you ask them, I think they'll tell you the 3 words that I focus on the most is good, quick progression. And as long as we can have good, quick progressions, get the ball out in under 2.5, I think we'll have a great opportunity to be successful. Because as long as we're getting that ball out in under 2.5, we're having good, quick progressions, and then having a 65% completion percentage and making sure we don't turn the ball over. All of that stuff happens as long as we, make sure we keep the information at a minimum and don't overload the guys. So,
you've worked with, in your history, some pretty decent quarterbacks and have been on some teams with NFL quarterbacks, Daniel Jones, Dak Prescott. What, outside of good, quick, and progressions, what are some of the things that you saw them in their development and how they took steps forward?
All those guys are, in their own way special. I tell people all the time, they all brought something different to the table that was tangible, that was something, a characteristic that helped make them who they are. With Dak, it was his will to win. With Daniel, it was, his ability to bring people together. And even with Gardner Minshew, like even his ability, to always want more, and always want to work more. And all of those guys, and I always like bringing up Gardner because Gardner ended up transferring from Troy. And you talk about those 3 guys. Gardner and Daniel Jones both were walk-on quarterbacks. Dak Prescott was a 2-star athlete, so it wasn't like, those were 5-star athletes. They were just people with unbelievable willpower, which it takes at this position to be successful. They were people who had the ability to respond, and that's what I define responsibility is, which is the ability to respond. And so all 3 of those guys showed the ability to respond to adversity. All of those guys show toughness and the ability to respond at a high level.
How do you relay that message and say, hey, like, you don't have to be a 5-star quarterback to have success in this game?
I think, you relay it through the proof. There's nothing special that you have to do or say. You just show them the proof, and it's not just with the guys that I've been able to have the pleasure of working with, but it's other guys as well. You look at people like Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson is not your ideal height. You look at people like Drew Brees. You look at people like the quarterback from BYU that's about to get drafted really highly. And that's how you kind of show them that it doesn't take anything special or spectacular for you to be successful, and it comes from simple daily decisions to do the right thing over and over, and letting those decisions compound over time to make a masterpiece. I always end every day by telling them that, first of all, our motto is every day, because that's what it takes, consistency. If you look at any motivational speaker or anybody who's written a book, the word that's used more than any other word in successful people's language is every day. And so that's why you break it down on every day. But you also look at the Grand Canyon, which was formed over time from water just pounding a stone over and over and over, and a masterpiece was formed. And so I just tell those guys, there's nothing spectacular that has to happen. We just got to do our job over and over and over. And it's mundane, and it gets repetitive, and we just can't get bored with repetition. And over time, masterpieces are formed. So that's our deal.